All right, so today we're diving into Kubernetes job scaling
Okay.
with KEDA.
All right.
That's Kubernetes event-driven auto-scaling.
Mm-hmm.
And this blog post by Prakash Bandari,
Yeah.
it's like our guide to
Okay.
making our infrastructure as responsive as possible.
I like that.
Like a team of superheroes,
Mm.
scaling up for big projects and then easing back when things are calmer.
I like how you put that.
Yeah.
KEDA is all about that dynamic scaling, making sure your resources aren't overwhelmed by like these bursts of tasks.
And you know what's cool about this is that Prakash actually mentions using KEDA himself.
Oh.
And get this, he specifically calls it out as like a really good alternative to AWS Lambda functions,
Interesting.
but for jobs that take a bit longer to run.
Right.
So he's not just talking about it, he's using it in the real world,
Yeah, that says a lot.
which I think speaks volumes.
It does, and that's a key point for tasks that don't really fit into that,
Right.
quick execution model that Lambda functions have. KEDA steps in as this nice solution.
Yeah,
It's not just theoretical, it's being used in production right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's unpack the example that he gives to like bring this all to life.
Okay.
He builds a Node.js app. Don't worry, you don't need to be a coder to follow along.
Right.
It's more about the logic
The big picture.
of it all.
Yeah. He creates a system with two parts,
Okay.
a publisher and a processor,
Okay.
and Amazon SQS as like the messenger between them.
So SQS is like a message queue.
Exactly like a waiting line for tasks.
Okay, so I'm picturing like a busy restaurant,
Okay.
and SQS is like that order queue.
Yes.
There's all the tickets go.
Mhm.
So what's the publisher doing?
The publisher is taking the orders.
Okay.
Or in our case, any input.
Okay.
So let's say you're uploading files to be processed.
Mm-hmm.
The publisher takes each file
Yeah.
and sends a message about it to that SQS queue.
Okay.
Each message being a separate order for the processor to handle.
So the SQS queue is holding all these orders,
Yes.
waiting for the chef, or in this case, the processor.
Exactly. And this is where KEDA comes in.
Okay.
It's like constantly watching that SQS queue.
Mm-hmm.
And if it sees these messages piling up, like orders backing up,
Yeah.
it automatically spins up more processors
Oh, wow, that's cool.
to handle the load.
So no more bottlenecks.
Exactly.
No more tasks piling up.
Yeah.
Just smooth, efficient processing.
Right. And this ensures
Yeah.
efficient use of resources,
Right.
leading to cost savings
Yeah.
and performance improvements
Okay.
compared to just having things constantly running.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So to make this all work,
Yes.
Prakash highlights the importance of Dockerizing the app,
Yes.
which is basically packaging the app in a standardized container.
Right. Making it portable,
Yeah.
easy to deploy across different environments.
Now that we understand like the basic setup,
Yes.
how does Prakash make sure
Mm-hmm.
that we can access AWS securely?
Right. That's where Kubernetes secrets come in.
Okay, how do those work?
So Kubernetes secrets, they let us store sensitive information like AWS credentials securely.
Okay,
So they're not exposed in the code
right.
or configuration files.
So it's like an extra layer of security.
Exactly. Especially important when we're dealing with cloud services.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, for testing this locally
Mm-hmm.
before going live,
Yeah.
Prakash uses Minikube.
He does.
What is that, and how does that help?
So Minikube lets developers run a Kubernetes cluster
Okay.
locally on their own machine.
Okay.
So it's like a mini version of the real deal
Oh.
for easier testing
Gotcha.
without needing a full cloud setup.
That's really cool.
It is really valuable during development.
That's super cool how all of this works together to make a system that's not only efficient,
Yeah.
but also secure
Mm-hmm.
and easily testable.
It speaks to how well designed this approach is.
Yeah.
Thinking about the entire life cycle from
Mhm.
development to deployment, it's
Yeah.
great.
I love that. It's like having a mini Kubernetes playground right on your laptop.
Yeah.
I love that. But this isn't just some like niche thing for experts,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Prakash mentions that this whole system
Yeah.
with KEDA can handle
Mm-hmm.
huge workloads,
Absolutely.
like production level stuff.
The scalability is what makes it so powerful. Think about it. If you're dealing with thousands or even millions of tasks,
Oh, yeah.
manually managing resources
Oh my gosh.
would be impossible.
You'd be a nightmare.
Right.
So with KEDA, it's like you're automating
Yeah. It's
the
like,
whole process.
that's exactly it. And what's cool is this approach can be used in so many different situations.
Okay.
It's not just about processing these files. Imagine handling customer orders, resizing images, analyzing huge data sets.
Wow.
Any task that can be broken down into individual units of work
Yeah.
can benefit from this kind of automated scaling and efficiency.
So it's like having a team of specialized robots
Yes.
ready to tackle any job,
Right.
and they just scale up or down as needed.
Exactly. And Burkash even mentions how KEDA allows for this more event-driven approach.
Oh, okay. What does that mean?
So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
It's a small but really important shift in how we think about these things.
Okay.
So traditionally, you might have resources that are always running,
Right.
just in case they're needed.
Just in case.
It's like having that team of robots always on,
Yeah.
even if there's nothing for them to do.
Right.
But with this event-driven approach,
Yeah.
you're only using resources when something actually triggers them.
Oh, okay.
So in our restaurant example, it's like the chef only starts cooking when an order comes in.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about being more efficient and more responsive.
Exactly.
And Prakash even hints that this can lead to saving money,
Absolutely.
especially in cloud environments.
Instead of having those servers running all the time,
Right.
you only use them when they're actually doing something useful.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that can make a huge difference in your bill.
For sure, I can see how this event-driven approach, combined with KEDA's ability to scale,
Yes.
could be really transformative
For
for businesses and developers.
It feels like a really big step toward making our systems smarter and more responsive.
Yeah.
And it gets even more interesting when you think about the implications of this, not just for single tasks,
Okay.
but for entire systems.
Right.
Imagine an architecture where every piece can automatically scale
Wow.
based on the demand.
So we're talking about a future
Yes.
where our apps and systems aren't limited by like static resource allocation.
Exactly.
They can adapt and scale based on what's happening in real time.
That's the beauty of what Prakash is explaining.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a peek into a future where technology is more responsive, more efficient, and really more in sync with how we work and live.
It's like we're moving away from like these old clunky machines
Yeah.
to something that's more adaptable,
Right.
more organic.
And it's not just about efficiency and saving money. Reliability gets a huge boost too.
Oh, in what way?
Well, when your systems can scale up automatically
Right.
to handle those unexpected spikes in demand,
Yeah.
you're much less likely to have those outages and performance issues.
Right. Those are the worst.
Exactly. They can bring everything to a halt.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is like having a safety net.
I like that.
You're not just keeping up with demand, you're ahead of it.
Okay.
And that means a smoother experience for everyone.
That's what we want.
Exactly. And that reliability is so important today.
Yeah.
When everything's expected to be available all the time.
24/7.
Yeah. Prakash really emphasizes how KEDA helps build that reliability.
Right into our systems.
And at the core of them.
So it's not just about reacting anymore. It's about anticipating
Exactly.
and adapting.
It's a whole new level.
Wow. This is really cool stuff.
It is. And this is just the beginning.
Right.
As more and more organizations adopt this event-driven approach,
Yeah.
who knows what amazing solutions we'll see.
It's exciting to think about.
It is. We're on the edge of a big change in how we build software.
Yeah. And this deep dive into Prakash's post
Yes.
has been like a front row seat.
It has. We've explored the core concepts of KEDA. We've seen how it works in a real example.
Yeah.
And we've even touched on what it could mean
Right.
for the future of software development.
And my mind is buzzing with possibilities.
I bet.
From handling massive amounts of data to building these really responsive apps.
Yeah.
The potential is huge.
It really is limitless.
So as we wrap up,
Yes.
we'll leave you with this.
Okay.
What tasks in your world
Yeah.
could benefit from this kind of technology?
It's a good question to think about.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.